Hi, my name is Top Tier Waifu, and I'm going to be speedrunning Resident Evil 2 Remake, Player First, Standard, 120 FPS. Now that jumbled mess of a category basically means we play a new game without using any of the infinite weapons or infinite knife or anything like that on the standard difficulty with the frame rate capped at 120 FPS. I'll show you later why it's important that we cap it at the 120 FPS. But for now, all we gotta do is try to get out of this gas station. Now, Claire has some interesting mechanics that are unique to her. She actually has some different animations that benefit her, and we'll definitely be... Nice crit. We'll definitely be abusing those in this run. The biggest one being that she actually runs faster when her health is in caution. So in this game there's 3 stages of health. There's caution, danger, and fine. Fine is what you start off with, that's your max HP, and then caution is in the middle and danger is you're about to die. Her running faster in caution means that right at the beginning of the game you're going to want to find the quickest way to get into caution and then stay in it the whole game, and preferably not take any more damage. That's where this guy comes in handy. Handy because he has no hands. Because he has no hands, he gets a super fast bite animation that does less damage. And because it does less damage, it puts you into the highest caution possible, which means you can still take 1 hit from enemies in the game and still be in caution, which is a great find, makes it way less reset heavy. Thank you so much for Shy for finding that strat. Yeah, it's great. And running faster is not the only thing that caution does for you. It also makes it so enemies aggro a bit later as a side effect of running faster. That means there's a few instances where enemies are going to have different patterns and aggro differently on Claire versus Leon. And we're going to use that to our benefit here on the way out. First, we got to save Elliot, because Elliot really needs our help opening this door. Hopefully, with a speed run, we can make it in time to save him. Oh, looks like we were too late. Rest in peace. Okay, maybe we could still save Marvin. So here, you'll see that these enemies are going to just let me squeeze right past them through the middle there. That's the thing you can only do on Claire because of that increased movement speed. It's really small time save, less than a second, but it does add up over the course of the run. So in this game, inventory is really important. What you're going to see me do here is I'm going to shoot an extra bullet here so that I can make sure that I'm going to run out of ammo later at the right time so that the bolt cutters, when I pick them up, go exactly where I want them. Nice movement. Speaking of movement, there are a few more things movement tech wise for Claire. First off is a quick turn like this. Basically, what you do is you just cancel her movement animation by clicking, and then you do A or D, or left or right, to get a quick dash in that direction. So it's faster around tight corners, especially when you're going into stairs. You have stairs, you got them here. This is kind of difficult, so I'm gonna concentrate here. This game is not super movement heavy. That is the most movement heavy part of the whole game right there. You just saw it. And all the way down as well. I'm going to concentrate on that a bit. Alright, nice stairs. Now I'm going to reload, which is going to remove the ammo from my inventory, which is exactly what I wanted. Perfect ammo routing. So what you're seeing me do there on the stairs while I'm aiming, that's me canceling an animation. We do that a lot in this run. Basically, the way it works is Claire stumbles a bit when she's aiming on stairs. This is something that also works on Leon. So what you want is that stumble animation because it's actually faster than her running animation on stairs. So we try to stay in that stumble animation as much as possible while we're on stairs. So here I'm going to do a little flick to trick the game into staggering me towards the door. And pick up the bolt cutters. And they're right where I want them. Now, sometimes there's a zombie behind this door. And he is immediately behind this door. Hopefully he's not here. Let's find out. Oh nice, he's not there. If he is there, he pretty much instantly bites you, and there's almost no way to react. It's pretty fun. So, you saw on the stairs there, I was shooting the zombies in the head, and they always staggered. That is only the case in Standard. That's one of the main reasons that we run Standard instead of Hardcore, is that the enemies on Standard are, for the most part, always going to stagger on one headshot. On Hardcore, their brains are made of steel or something. They just don't stagger. It could take like up to 6 shots into the head to stagger them. So in Hardcore, they like to shoot them in the legs. It's still not like a first shot stagger, but it definitely is a lot faster than a headshot. So I say that the headshot staggers them mostly on Standard. That's because Standard has a thing called difficulty adjustment. It doesn't play that big of a role in Claire. All you really need to know is that when you pick up stuff, the game gets harder. When you take damage, the game gets easier. Doesn't really affect Claire's run too much. Just know that at the end of the game, there's a chance that the enemies aren't going to stagger on one hit, like they do at the beginning. So coming up, we're going to come across our first liquor of the run. Liquors are very interesting in this game. They're pretty predictable, and you can manipulate them sometimes, which is what I tried to do right there by walking into the doorway. Hopefully he'll do what I want here. They also have a mechanic unique to them in this game. They get shy when you put the camera on them, and they get really docile, he says, as he almost dies. Shy lickers. It does actually work, but it's not 100% consistent. It's not like they're never going to attack you if you point the camera at them. But it does lower their aggression, for sure. I guess he wants to show off in front of the crowd, right? Next thing here is the 3 medallion puzzles. Now, the 3 medallion puzzles in this game always have the same solution, which is nice, but the way that they start is completely random. That adds a little bit of a memorization element to this run. You have to be able to quickly realize where they are placed and what is the fastest direction to spin them in to get the pattern. But it's also random, so sometimes you're just gonna get a bad pattern and lose time, and there's really nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. But there's only 3 of them in the game, so it's not a huge deal. Then we just passed through the library. The library is gonna be a very important room in the game later because it's one of the most random. On that first path through, it's 100% consistent. Nothing bad can ever happen in that room, really. But on the way back, it gets a little hairy. And you'll see that here in a couple minutes. So this game is really short. The run itself is just about 55 minutes long if you're going about like an average runner's pace. And we finished the first section of the game their RPD1 really fast. In under, not 10 minutes, for sure. And since we beat that first section of the game, that means we're coming up against the first boss, Birkin 1. And here I'm going to showcase how actually broken the knife is in this game, especially at higher FPS. I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on this fight real quick. Oh, there you go. Super fast fight. So basically, the knife in this game, it checks if it's hitting an object every certain amount of frames. So the higher frame rate you have, the more it checks if it's hitting. So at 120, it checks a lot faster than 60, and it scales up infinitely. So basically that means the more it checks, the more times your knife actually hits. So it doesn't actually do more damage like most people say, it actually does more DPS, more damage per second. Which means also the durability of the knife goes down a lot faster as well. And we use that to great advantage against all the bosses in the game. That's the only one that you kill entirely with the knife, but you use the knife in all of the fights to make them fast, because it has the highest damage per second out of any weapon in the game. Which makes them super important. Sub-weapons in general for this game are really strong. We route almost the entire game just around them. In Claire, we literally route the whole game around them, except for one exception, which you'll see later. So here we have the second section of the game with Lickers. These guys are way more consistent. We have a pretty much 100% consistent movement manip for them here. That was scary. On the way there, it's pretty free. On the way back, it's a bit more random, but it's usually fine. Now we can take one hit, but it's a little early to take that hit. Ideally, if you're gonna get hit, you want to get hit in RPD2, which is right after this section, because that's the most random and hard part of the run. So if you're gonna get hit anywhere, you want to get hit there. Here I'm gonna sneak past this Licker here, then jump past me, and then past me again, and I'm out of there. Bye bye, Lickers. I won't see them again until lab, I believe. So we're already done with another section of the game. This game is going by really fast. We're almost out of the RPD already, actually. Next up is RPD2, which is where you're going to see Mr. X for the first time. He gives you a lot of trouble, casually. I'm sad to say he gives you a lot of trouble in the speedrun, too. He's probably the hardest part of the speedrun, is trying to adapt to where Mr. X is. He shows up in random places, what's going on. As of now, we have no manipulations for Mr. X. We have really no idea how he works. Can't really seem to figure it out. Which is really interesting, because we've figured out how pretty much everything else in the game works at this point. Might mean he is truly random. Who knows? Now, this section isn't only hard because it's random. It's also hard because it's hard. There's a lot of execution checks you gotta do here, like in this next room, which I'm gonna concentrate for. You have to hit this headshot so you can go in and out of the room really fast, or he'll block you. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. That's one way to do that room. I've never had that happen before. Okay. I got a rare meme there where he ran really fast. And you also got to see a super rare dodge. If you're running at a specific angle, when a zombie grabs you, you won't actually get bit. They'll just like twirl around with you and then let you go, as long as you don't run into a wall. And somehow I managed to luck out and run exactly into the shortcut of that room and not get hit. So it all worked out. Wouldn't have been a huge deal if I did get bit there, but definitely is nice that I didn't. So here comes Mr. X. And he's all big and scary, but he ain't that tough. And he's got a dumb hat. So I'm going to concentrate for this next section. I really gotta focus for this. It's fun. Unfortunate. Brizzy. Interesting placement. Okay. So Mr. X spawning, he comes at random times. This is probably one of the worst times for him to come. I'll explain that shot later. We need to push these 3 bookshelves. We could actually push them all at once because Claire's really strong. That is where I saved the flash. In case that happens. So basically what I did there is when I entered the room, I shot at the floor before I entered. And that is because if zombies aren't aggroed on you, they like to go to where you shoot if you shoot at something. For some reason they go to where your bullet hit and not where you shot from, but I'm not complaining. It works. It's not 100% consistent, as you saw there. That one last zombie came towards me, but it's a whole lot better than not doing anything at all. Before we were just kind of YOLOing that room. This would be a great time for donations. Now that we finished getting both of the electronic pieces, all we have to do now is go back to the puzzle that we needed them for in the first place. That's fine. We have that knife specifically for this guy in case he does that. He is very random. We basically just gotta take the puzzle pieces back to the puzzle, and then we can play as Sherry, which is a large auto-scroller, which is the best part of the run, totally. Another advantage of running with caution with Claire right there is that guy will always just go right past you because he has no idea where you are because you are so fast. You're a blur. You're like Sonic, basically. That puzzle is fixed every time. It's always the same, so it's really easy to do really fast. Now we play as Sherry, everyone's favorite part of the game, I'm sure. It's great, I swear. Definitely not just like a 5-minute auto-scroller. This puzzle is also random. So, Sherry actually does have one boss, surprisingly enough. And it's a very strange one, but it can lose you a ton of time in a speedrun if you do it wrong. It's the bookshelf. This bookshelf is the hardest part of Sherry. Sometimes, Sherry gets very afraid and decides that she does not want to climb the bookshelf. Please climb the book, Sherry. Thank you. Okay, that was actually a good bookshelf climb. Bogshamp. We did it. So from here on out, basically, we just gotta run, aggro Chief Irons, run back, wait for him to stop looking for us and go to the bathroom, and then steal his key and run back. That's basically it. This is a perfect time for donations. Doors locked. Basically, all you have to do for this section is don't stand at his direct eyesight. That's pretty much it. It's really easy. So, in the plot, Sherry throws something in acid, I believe, into Chief Iron's face. Apparently, it disables his ability to see more than 2 feet in front of him, because we could just stand here and he will never find us. Don't ask me how. This does not work on hardcore, though. He has advanced hide-and-seek capabilities on hardcore. Surprised it's not an advertised game mechanic. Now all we gotta do is help the old man to the bathroom. Oh, no way! Oh my god! I've never had that happen before. Well. Okay. Oh. I went too early. I can assure you, I can make that not happen. Or donations, I guess. I've never had that happen to me before. Yeah, I went a little bit too early, I guess. I swear. I just restarted so that I could manipulate my difficulty adjustment, guys. Totally. I was pretty much on world record pace before that happened. Oops. It's okay. It gets shorter on the second time around, I swear. It's totally free, I just moved a little bit too early. Which I would just play it safe. But hey, we get to watch him be totally inept at hide and seek again. Seems like a win to me. This time I won't help him to the bathroom. He really doesn't like being patronized, I guess. Alright, grab the key. Yoink. That was a good time to explain how I can open doors so fast. As you'll see here. I open it like pretty much instantly. My inventory barely even shows on screen. The way I'm doing that is the game has 3 default binds for using an item in the inventory. Left click, F, and space. And it only detects 1 input from each input device at a time. So you can't just like mash left click super fast and open doors fast. But what you can do is press them back to back to back really fast, like 1, 2, 3, real quick. So I usually press left click, then space, then F in that order, super quick, and it just instantly uses the key item in the first slot, which is super useful. Saves a bunch of time over the course of the run. Okay, now that we're back as Claire, we actually have gameplay now. So that's all of RPD done. We're never going to see this place again. And good ribbons, because that was not a good RPD too. All we gotta do now is use this key card that we got to open the garage and go ahead and try to save Sherry from the orphanage. Yes, inspect it, please. Oh no, he's back! He's mad because I shot his hat off, I think. Oh! Go away. Alright, so now we're gonna go to the next section, which is the dogs section. The dogs in this game work a lot like lickers do. However, they don't get shy when you put the camera on them, to our knowledge. And they are actually consistently manipulable. You can manipulate them with your movement, for the most part, again. There are some individual dogs that it doesn't seem to work on, but overall, the dogs, they like to behave. They're good boys, you know? At the end of the day, they're just good boys. There's one now. Coming through, speedrunner, by the way. When people tell speedrunners that they should just run past enemies, this is what you should show them. Me just running past the enemies. So here we're gonna do a little nice shot here to manipulate this dog. Quick. If you don't do that, then sometimes he'll just literally jump on you the instant you get out of the bus. Very annoying. But yeah, that section is relatively easy. There are some things that could go wrong, but that was very good, dogs. Oh my gosh, your face, sir. What we gotta do now is we gotta get Sherry back, and we gotta get out of here.
Sherry, どこなの?
Hey, Sherry. This would be a great place for donations as well. Well, I thought my game crashed. If you skip that cutscene too fast, your game will crash sometimes. I don't know if they patched that in the latest update, but that was definitely an issue before. So now we're in sewers. Claire moves faster in caution, of course, but also in caution while in water. Not sure why that's the case, but it works, so it actually doesn't slow you down to be in caution water. We got two pretty difficult rooms coming up here. This next one is a bit difficult, and then the one after that as well. Let's focus here for a second. Alright, that was fine. That first zombie can lunge at you and block your whole camera and make it pretty much impossible to hit that shot. This would be a great time for donations. Alright, so this next room, this one is like the hardest and most trolly room in the whole game. Oh, yeah. This is why, because these shots are really hard to hit while running, and if you're on stairs, there's really nothing you can do about the enemies, because you can't even use your defense weapon against them. But that's fine. We'll have to get that knife back from him later, but we don't have any ammo at the moment. But thankfully it's not going to be a huge deal that he has it on him, because he's going to hold it for us there. What a nice guy. Now if you saw my inventory there, we basically have nothing in it. And that's because we skip pretty much everything in the whole run. All we grab is sub-weapons and the spark shot, that's it. We never grab the grenade launcher. But we still do need lots of pouches because we almost never use the item box. We only use it once, just to drop off some stuff. That's it. So this area of the game introduces a new enemy, G-Adults. There's sometimes one right here, but he's not here. Basically, they are just big blobs that can body block you and poison you. Obviously getting poisoned is really bad, so you don't want that to happen. Yeah, I need my knife back, sir. You fall over. Please fall over. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for holding on to it for me. You can't pull your knife out of an enemy unless they fall over. It's gonna make my ammo a little bit tight, but I should be fine. As we don't really need ammo that much for the rest of the run. Because these G-Adults here are very manipulatable. More so than most of the other enemies in the game. On Claire, it's very consistent. At least on the way there. On the way back, you've yet to find a super consistent way to manipulate them. But mostly just because we run so fast in Caution with Claire, we can outrun that guy. But on Leon, it's a different story. Alright, so here we're going to pick up the best weapon in the game. the Spark Shot. Now, if you've played the original, which I have not, I hear the Spark Shot is actually terrible in that game. But it is legitimately the best gun in the game, in this one. They must have learned that people never used the Spark Shot in the original and tried to remedy that. They went a little overboard because it is really good. And you'll see that on the boss fights. Trying to make sure I don't miss my shots because I have no ammo left. If you don't believe me, I'll have to show you undeniable proof here in a little bit when I do G2, or Birkin 2, rather. Be a great time for donations. So there we use the Spark Shot to quickly stun that G-Adult and then run past. That's basically what we're going to use the Spark Shot for the rest of the game, is quick stuff like that, unless it's a boss fight. Want to be safe here. Safe, he says. I just want to be safe, guys. I just want to be safe. Excuse me, coming through. That's fine. There is a heal up here that we will be able to get before the next fight. That room is literally the hardest room in the game, and I definitely displayed why right there. That did go really bad, but I didn't die, so didn't go that bad, right? This is the one time we use the box in the whole run. We use it to get rid of those key items that we no longer need. Because otherwise our inventory will fill up and we'll not have any space for the items that we need later. Oops, wrong one. Very easy to confuse the chess pieces here. So I'm gonna need to concentrate for this next fight, but I'll have a ton of time to explain what's happening after it's over, because there is yet another section where you walk slow. Flex to assert dominance. Perfect. Perfect. So that was Birkin 2. Basically what we did there is there is a first phase where he starts to swipe at you through this healing. But if you hit him with a nade damage through the ceiling, and it does enough damage, you can instantly skip that whole section. That nade setup there is consistent and does it every time. But then comes the hard part. After that, we want to one-cycle him, which means we want to hit him with his ultimate nemesis, the crane, once, and have it kill him. If you just hit him with the crane, you have to hit him twice or even 3 times, depending on what your difficulty adjustment is at. I believe you only have to hit him 3 times on hardcore. But, so what we have to do there is we have to do 50% of his HP before the crane hits him. And obviously we want to hit the button to call the crane as fast as possible so that we're not losing any time waiting around. Now, I did that perfectly there and made it so that the spark shot stuns him if he hits him in the eye. If you miss the eye shot, then the whole fight gets super crazy and you really have to salvage it. But yeah, that was a good fight. Now we just gotta carry Sherry into labs, and this is a perfect time for donating.
必ず治すわ。頑張ってシェリー。大丈夫よ。
隔壁が完全に解放されるまでしばらくお待ちください。隔壁が完全に解放されるまでしばらくお待ちください。隔壁が完全に解放されるまでしばらくお待ちください。ご訪問を歓迎いたします。
So there's something interesting that most people don't know about this game. If you skip the grenade launcher or the shotgun, they spawn right there. However, it's still not worth, even though it's completely free, it's still not worth it to grab it on Claire. Because the spark shot is just that good, and we can avoid having to expand our inventory again if we never pick up the grenade launcher. Pick up some extra needles for the spark shot and some handgun ammo as well as that grenade. Basically at this point we're stocked up for the rest of the game, and we just gotta get to the end. Lab is pretty straightforward. All we have to do is go ahead and get the modulator so we can turn the power on. Once we have the power on, then we can use that to get to the final bosses of the game. But first, we're gonna need to collect some stuff. Like right here, we get the upgrade for the spark shot. Basically what it does is it makes it so that it doesn't have to take as long to charge shots. And there you go, perfect example. We're at late game. The enemy didn't stagger in one headshot. Thankfully there's not that many regular zombies left, just IVs. But the IVs have a whole new challenge in and of themselves. They make you use your sub-weapon. If you don't use your sub-weapon on them when they grab you, you will instantly die no matter what HP you're at. So at this point it doesn't matter too much that we're running around in caution, but it only matters that we don't get grabbed by the IVs. If we do, we can use our sub-weapons. I have an extra knife on me from the G2 fight, or the Birkin 2 fight rather, that we can use for safety. But I'm gonna need to discard that once I pick up the modulator. So this would be a great time for today. So basically what we're doing now is we grab this herbicide shell here, and what we need to do is refill it so we can kill all the IVs, essentially, is the goal. So we can get a upgrade for our wristband so we can go further into the laboratory. And we get a nice water puzzle here.
現在
Thankfully, it's the same every time.
カートリッジに合うように液量を調整してください。
Just because it's the same every time doesn't mean I'm not gonna mess it up. So yeah, the next few rooms are pretty straightforward. Just try not to get hit by an Ivy. If you do, you have one safety item that you can use. We need at least 3 spark shot shots for the final boss, or Birkin 3 rather. It's not actually the final boss, but yeah, we need at least 3 for that. So we can use, I have 8. We can use 5. We're gonna do a little prep for this room here. This would be the hardest room in the game if I didn't do this. Kobe. That kills all 3 of those sleeping zombies and makes it so that the only enemies in this room now are 2 lickers. And so we're just gonna have to movement manipulate around those lickers on the way back. But now we are using our movement tech again to go up these stairs really fast so we can get this modulator. And at this point, the zombies, as I said, don't stun in one headshot, so it's more worth it to just use the spark shot on them, even though we have really limited ammo. Just because you don't want to get bit this late in the game, there's not many heals left. Alright, concentrate here for a second. Uh-oh, why are you not? Okay, he decided he didn't want to do anything, that's fine, I guess. Ooh, he almost attacked me there. Oh, yikes, I walked into that one, huh? That's fine. Where is he? Thank goodness we have that safety knife. That was unfortunate. I've never seen that licker do that movement before. But that's fine. We were prepared.
研究員メッセージが5件あります。
寒
Should have packed my parka.
失敗
冷却が終了しました。
This game has a very nice pacing to it. It gives you very nice breaks in between the super difficult sections of the game. Like G2 or Birkin 2, the boss fight that I just did, is like one of the most stressful parts of the game, and immediately after it gives you an auto scroller. And the same thing happens for the next boss fight. Very nicely paced that way. So here there's a little bit of randomness, as you can see already. There's 2 here this time, which is not good. We only have 1 more shot left with our spark shot, because we need at least 3 for the next boss. I didn't see it. Oops. My inventory is a bit jumbled because of the events that have happened. So that
雑草は駆除し
goes ahead and unlocks the next item for us. Right over there, we'll go ahead and yoink that and move on to the next area. All we have to do is pass by a couple more Ivies, and then we're on to like the really end game where there's only like 2 bosses, and that's about it. The game's boss density really picks up once you get to lab. There's 2 more guys I gotta get past here. Yes, we should be good. Don't miss any shots, then the next boss should be good to go. Yeah, gotcha. Making sure that my knives were not broken. Grab this for safety, just in case we get hit in the next fight. Yeah, that is the Ivies done with for now. There's a few more later, but they can't, I've never ever seen them mess anything up. But you know, marathon luck. Be a great place for donation. All the way through the boss fight, actually.
抗ウイルス剤シェリーに届けなきゃ。
クラス A 収容員を演出最高の実験室を隔離します。
Nice. Nice. So yeah, we use a combination right there of the knife being super powerful at high frame rates and the spark shot being super good to just go ahead and skip both phase 2 and phase 3 for that boss fight. I did a trick there in the middle where I actually canceled my knife swinging animation by switching my weapons right after I switched the knives. It lets you just keep swinging and do even more damage per second. But I had a very awkward amount of HP left on my knives because I had to use it as a defense weapon earlier. But it was still fine. Still had plenty of time left. If I had not killed him right there, he would have grabbed the wall and gotten invincibility frames for about 15 seconds or so. But it's not like he's gonna kill me or anything.
シェリー歩けそう？せかしたくはないけど。
Now we just gotta get Sherry to the end of the game, and there's one more boss fight left after we do another short auto scroller. This would be a great time for donations.
さあ急ぎましょう。
中央エレベーターから最下層のプラットフォームへ至急避難してください。警告、自己破壊行為が実行されました。中央エレベーターから最下層のプラットフォームへ至急避難してください。警告、自己破壊行為が実行されました。
クレア、
何？
親切にしてくれてありがとう。助けてくれた。クレアに会えてよかった。
私もあなたに会えてよかった。でもお礼を言うならここを出てからね。
爆発まであと10分。
シェリー逃げて！このドアなんで開かないのよ。
ちょっと待って。
So here we're just waiting for Sherry to climb to unlock the door. I don't know why Claire doesn't do it herself. You could definitely do that. But we're just waiting, and we have a bunch of broken knives in our inventory. They have like 1 HP left. What I like to do to clean up my inventory for the next two items, which are both double wide, is to let them grab me and just impale them with them. Because you can actually impale all 3 knives that are broken in your inventory at pretty much perfect timing for the door to open. See?
すごいわシェリー。
だってチームだもん。
last zombie. Goes down in one hit. Poor guy. So now we got the final boss. He's literally the only thing in the whole game that we use frag grenades on for Claire. We've been picking up frag grenades subtly on the way the whole time, just for this guy. Basically, the way that this guy works is he has a whole bunch of eyeballs, and the only way to kill him is to break a whole bunch of eyeballs, because he actually has like 3 million HP or something crazy. So you gotta break a certain amount of eyeballs, we're not sure how many. And when that happens, he dies.
爆発まで
So I'm gonna go ahead and
あと8分
concentrate for this fight. Nice. That's GG basically. Now he's just gonna crawl at me. Just need to break the eyes with the minigun. But the knife, as always, is super good against this boss and breaks his eyes really fast. Yeah, so that's Resident Evil 2 Remake, Claire Standard, 120 FPS. For what happened, that's not actually that bad of a run. That was pretty decent. So this game runs off the in-game timer, and we're about to see it here. What was my time? 55:20. That's not too bad. Yeah. Thank you for watching.